What's going on, everybody? Thank you for joining Paul and myself back for another Ditch Panda bass fishing video. Today, we're going to be talking about summer patterns.
Yeah, man, I'm pretty excited about this one for sure.
Yeah.
I love the summer for fishing. The heat sucks, but
Yeah, 110 degrees isn't fun, but
not fun.
bass are all done spawning. They're all out of their post-spawn funk. What are they doing? Well, let's figure it out. Post-spawn is over with. They've already spawned out. They've recovered. They've gone out. They pulled out their points. You know, the same way they came in, they come out. What happens now?
Where do you go?
Where do they go? I guess is the first question we should be asking.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, definitely break it down.
Yeah. And it's a weird thing because at this point, we have a pretty even split of fish, which is kind of interesting and really kind of specific to summer, which is cool because you can catch fish all over the lake, which is awesome. And you get a pretty even split of fish that go deep and fish that have moved back shallow from after they recovered from the post spawn.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what's happening is those fish are looking for oxygen. In the summer, oxygenated water is key. It's number one. As the water heats up, the water loses its ability to hold oxygen. So fish are looking for that oxygen.
Yeah, it's key. So that being said, there's certain areas of every lake that's going to have more of it. So obviously, vegetation. That's number one in any lake. Every single lake across the country, I would say, is going to have some form of vegetation in it.
Yeah. I mean, I think some of the there's somebody somewhere that's like, my lake has one blade of grass, and you guys are lying to me.
In that case, they probably have an aeration system.
Yeah,
in that
for
lake
sure.
That's churning water, which is also creating oxygen.
Yeah. Well, we could just talk about again, half of them are gone deep. They're going deep because there's cooler water. The water holds more oxygen. The fish that are going shallow, they're looking for cooler water. They're looking for shade.
That's a big one.
Shade's huge in the summer.
Right.
And they're looking for mats, grass mats, matted grass, because all those veggies make oxygen.
Right.
And then you're looking for grass flats. Anywhere near grass in the summertime, there's going to be bass held up there. Another good thing is if water's coming in or going out of the lake.
Right.
If you've got tributaries that feed down into your lake, 100% there's going to be bass there. Because not only is it bringing cooler water in, but it's also aerating.
Yeah, so your northern fisheries that still have that winter runoff pretty much all year round, you know, like growing up in Colorado, for instance, like all those lakes, I mean, for the most part, regardless, there was snow on the top of some mountain somewhere in Colorado, so it was melting all year round. So through the summertime, those mountain lakes, stuff like that, they were always getting water. There was always some small tributary, some small little creek that was bringing water in. On the other end of that, any of your reservoir fishermen, you guys lowland, highland reservoirs, they're constantly moving water in and out.
Yep.
So the dam areas.
Yeah, the moving water is good. Again, it's oxygen.
Bass don't have eyelids.
Nope.
Didn't know if you knew that or not.
They don't. They do not.
Okay. So, a little science. A little science for everybody.
A little marine biology.
So, and they can't wear glasses.
It's the ears.
That
they don't have the ears to hold them up.
Right. So, they have to find shade.
Yeah.
Or a depth in which the water will not penetrate.
Yeah.
So, be looking for two things. Some form of shade, whether it's docks, whether it's grass lines,
overhanging rocks and trees.
Right, trees, rocks, boulder situations, stuff like that. in your clear water lakes, super clear water lakes, you're looking for that color change. So when you're looking into the lake, you're looking down the lake, you're looking down that point, you're looking into those areas. You want to see there's going to be a physical looking change in the color of the water. That's your deep water, right? So, and bass will utilize that to their advantage because they're ambush predators. So they want to be right in that area, right there where that light does no longer penetrate down, and they can see everything above them. Right.
Bluff walls are huge in the summertime too, because most of them, probably half or more on your lake, are going to have a shade right next to them all day long.
Right. They're going to cast a shadow.
And deep water, most likely. You know, there are some real bluff walls that sit, you know, they might only sit in 5 to 6 feet of water, but they're going to have deep water nearby. And most,
Depending
I
on
think,
lake level, I mean, you might run into a situation.
What kind of lake you're in, but a lot of guys' bluff walls are 60, 80, 200 feet deep.
Sure. For your pond fishermen that are saying, hey, it's just like a bowl, man. There's nothing really going on there. It seems like there's always like some concrete or block wall situation around somewhere where they're pulling water out or pulling water in. So there's that. There's always going to be something.
Pond fishermen, you guys have a great thing in which you guys get mats. You guys get the pond scum layer, which you can frog, and that's just beautiful.
That guy right there.
That's the one.
That is it. That is her. That, I'm telling you, for pond, if you go to a pond, you can't catch a frogfish. I mean, I don't know what it is about in the summertime frog fish in a pond. Those bass eat those things, and I'm telling you, it's almost automatic. It's almost automatic.
It is.
So that's a. And
I know for the pond fishermen too, it can get really hard to fish in the summertime because there's so much grass. Because that, you know, the water's warmed up, all your grass started to grow, and you almost can't throw anything but a frog. We've dealt with it here on some of our smaller ponds, but that's okay with me. You know, I'm perfectly okay with that.
Yeah, I mean, again, look for that edge, and there are some that are totally socked in which case the bass have got used to it. So there's lanes. There's always a highway.
Absolutely.
There's always streets, if you want to call them streets, highways, whatever. There's always lanes where you can kind of see where the fish are moving. In the bigger fisheries, bigger lakes, bigger reservoirs, natural lakes, whatever, there's going to be a spot where the grass no longer grows, and it's because of depth. It's because the sun can't penetrate down to a certain level based on the clarity of the water. So
you're for sure not going to have as much.
So you're not going to have as much grass down in that area, obviously, because it takes all that stuff to grow. So there's defined lines.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah. Another good thing you need to pay attention to when you're fishing in the summer is your early morning bites and your evening bites, because they will be more active. Then it's cooler. The water up shallow especially has cooled down a few degrees overnight, typically, if it was cooler that night. I know some of the places, especially in California, Texas, where, you know, it might stay 90 degrees all night. You're not going to get that much fluctuation, but more towards the coast where it gets hot during the day, where we're at here in Central California, it'll it'll be 110 at night, but it'll steep down into 65, 68 sometimes.
Yeah, the ocean breeze cools it down. So be looking for that stuff, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wind is a big player in the summertime, because when the wind blows, it blows plankton. When the plankton blows, it brings bait fish to eat the plankton, in which case, obviously, small fish, big fish are following. So that's one thing to look at too.
Absolutely.
There's a myth. I think there's a myth out there about wind and how it blows bait fish into areas. It doesn't blow bait fish. First of all, they can swim.
Yeah, they're fish.
Yeah, they're fish. What it does is blow the plankton. It blows all that stuff on the top of the water that those fish are feeding on.
All those micro feeders.
Right. So, and again, there's going to be those times of day during the day, whether it's morning, evening, where those fish are going to activate, and they're going to push that bait into shallow water to feed.
Yep. All it takes is one catch out of a wolf pack, and you're going to fire them up. And then, 10, 15 fish later, as soon as you've weaned through the ones, the twos, creeping into the threes, next thing it's a 6 or a 7 or an 8. you know, they
Yeah,
got
they
past.
can't handle it
Yeah.
because they're not going to let the smaller kids eat
Right.
anymore. So that's a good point. And there's baits that we'll talk about in other videos that give you the ability to be able to fire up those bigger fish one way or the other, right? So the one thing I would say is if you find them, if you find that area and in the middle of the summer when it's super hot, you can go back to that area the whole summer.
Absolutely.
They're going to be there. They don't move a bunch. I mean, they move to feed and that's it. Again, you know, there's a time period where when it heats up, they go lethargic, and it's because it's right away.
Yeah.
Right? And so their body temperature goes up, and they can't acclimate fast enough, so they slow down. Mm-hmm. And after that happens, which is your dog days of summer, where they get active again because they get used to it.
Yeah.
Right? Same thing happens in the wintertime in reverse. So just know that when you find that stuff, you can mark that, and you can go back and you can catch those fish.
Absolutely.
You can find those fish.
Yeah.
It'll be relatively easy. And if you have some sort of idea of where those fish are going, where they've came from, then you can just kind of go down the line.
Yep, absolutely.
Because they maybe they're, you know, a couple hundred yards down or a couple hundred yards up or whatever the case may be. They're going to be right in that area. So be writing stuff down. Be like, remember, mark it, whatever you got to do, because
use your waypoints.
It's important to if you want to catch fish consistently, to be as detail oriented as possible.
Yeah, I know it's hard. It's hot. You're sweating. It's gross. You guys down there in Texas, with all those southern states, it's humid. Mm-hmm. But you got to grind it out. It's a great time of the year to catch fish. It's a great time of the year to catch big fish.
Right.
And like I said in the beginning, they're all over. I mean, there's another thing. There's actually one more thing I want to say. Summertime is a great time to work on yourself as an angler. And what I mean by that is because the fish are deep and shallow, you can find them either anywhere. If you're more comfortable fishing off on the bank, fishing shallow, in the summertime, you can utilize that time to go work on your offshore skills.
Or you can really dial in.
Or you can really dial in.
Shallow skills. I'll never forget this. One day we decided we wanted to go fish. The boat we didn't have the boat up here. So we took one rod, we took 2 baits each, and went to the pond. And all we did was throw frogs.
Yeah.
We had a dark frog and a light frog. That was it.
Yep.
And I'm telling you, get really good. You get real comfortable throwing stuff. When that's all you have, you know you didn't bring anything else.
Yep, that's true.
If you didn't bring anything else, that's all you brought, you make it work.
Yep, it's the one big trick.
Make it work.
Yep.
And whatever you do, don't put it in your pocket. That's another story.
That's a story for another time.
That's another story.
Yeah.
So in the meantime, we hope you enjoyed it. If you do, hit that like button. Comment down below anything we missed. Let us know what we can do for you question-wise.
Yeah.
Give us a holler.
Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Always helps us out. And if you're trying to get beef jerky, good snack for those hot days out in the summer.
Man,
Bagable beef jerky, bagable.com, or at Bagable on Instagram, or on our Instagram in our link tree. Yep. Use code DP10. That gets you 10% off at checkout. Best beef jerky in the universe, bar none. Anyone can argue with me about that, but it
and $50 or more gets free shipping.
True.
So
get out there. Summer, stay hydrated, stay cool, keep fishing.